Adrianne.
Great to meet you, Adrianne.
Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Thank you for having me.
My name is Adrianne Palicki, and Tyler might recognize me from a TV series, Friday Night Lights, or John Wick, or most recently, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Great. Well, thank you again for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for being here. I come from a background of intuitives, both sides of my family, so this is something that's not new to me, and I'm very, very open to, and have had many, many different experiences throughout my childhood. I saw my first spirit when I was 11 years old in my home, so I'm kind of interested to, get his take and see if he feels anything from me.
Okay, so do we have an object?
It's a picture.
Awesome. Okay, we'll keep that face down, and we will see what comes through. All right. Okay. Thank you. I feel like I have to highlight immediately your paternal side just popped in, and I feel like I have to talk about Grandma. This is interesting. This is a weird situation because with one death, there was a birth. And this is interesting in the way this comes through because when she connects, she has a much closer relationship to you on the other side than she got the chance to in life. And there's this feeling of I'm going to wait to hold on because I feel like I want to be in the presence of or know about this baby. And it applies on that grandmother's side. But she's saying from her perspective that she wanted to be able to hold on. I feel like I'm wanting to hold on and I'm actually waiting to pass. And this is interesting the way this comes across. Your grandmother waited to actually pass away. Who is she?
That was my Grandma Palicki. She was my dad's mom, and just apparently the most amazing woman. She had pancreatic cancer, and she waited 5 days for me to be born, and then she died 5 days after.
Makes sense. Okay.
Once she found out she was having a granddaughter,
right,
which she only had the one,
right,
she was like, I'm hanging on for this one.
Yes.
And so, yeah, she hung on to see me be born.
There's this feeling of like your birth helps me transition. And that I would say is really interesting because when she comes through, she feels like you've been able to kind of live her legacy in an interesting way and kind of carry on her legacy. And it's
feel like oddly connected to somebody I've never met.
Right.
You know? My Grandma Palicki, I never really knew, but I always felt very connected to. My aunt, her daughter, always told me that, I was very similar to my grandmother. There's no way you can look and see that that happened. You know what I mean? That was a situation. Unbelievable. My parents said that they knew that she passed because I woke up in the middle of the night 5 days after and I was talking to somebody.
Right.
And then they got the phone call right after, so they thought that she came to visit me.
Right. That's nuts. That's so surreal. When things like that happen, it's incredible that people are able to wait.
Yeah.
And like will themselves to hold on. Yeah. But I think that's a testament to just how much love was there, and clearly she still has that, so it's awesome. That's special.
Definitely felt like I connected with my grandmother, and it's just nice to hear that validation and that, that something that you've been thinking is actually true, that it's real, and to know that they're just there watching me is really, really lovely.
But of the people that you were hoping to hear from today, who were you most interested in connecting with?
My Grandpa Palicki on my dad's side.
So let's see. Let me see. We've got that. I mean, I have a reference to art.
That's my grandpa's name.
Okay.
Art.
Wow, I was thinking more if someone was an artist, but that's great. I mean, that'll work. And literally, that would be their way of having me say art. So I assume his name was Arthur? Was it? So it's interesting. Whereas your grandmother on that side obviously acknowledges like not being able to have the opportunity to get to really know you in this lifetime. Your grandfather comes through very intensely and acknowledges being very connected to you. And there's a feeling of him basically kind of doing two roles. And so it's actually an interesting thing when he comes through because he feels like he wasn't just grandpa. He feels like he was so much more. And he prides himself on the fact that it's said in conversation that he wasn't just like a grandfather, that he was like a dad, like he was like, And he, when he connects, really feels such an enthusiasm about the ways that he was able to help, not just in that role, but in many. And that was really important for him.
It was interesting what Tyler said about the fact that he felt like he was not just my grandfather, but he had multiple roles, which is interesting because I always say this to people. I said it was like he was my grandfather and my father, although I didn't need a second father because my father's amazing, but he was just always there. And he would take us to school when my parents were both working. He'd pick us up. He was just so present. He never missed a dance recital I was in. He was so front and center of everything. And I mean, I don't know as far as like, if there was anything my Grandpa Palicki would like to say to my brother.
Right.
They were very, very, very close.
For sure. There's an acknowledgement that comes through, and this is gonna sound weird, like, it's confusing to me, but it's coming through, and I just heard tell him that he couldn't have saved me. So, why would he say that?
Well, because he had a heart attack that day. He was just helping him at the house, and he got, you know, shooting pain, and he was just like, go home, I'm not feeling well. And my brother was old enough, he was 14, 15 years old, so he felt like, you know, he should have known. It changed, that changed him. Right. Changed him back then. And so my brother still blames himself on some level.
Right. He doesn't want him to feel like he had to hold on to that responsibility, because there's a feeling of like, let this go, let this go, let this go. But that would be the most significant message to brother, is you could not have saved me. That was really important. So please know that. And I think that'll be really comforting for him to hear.
Yes.
For sure.
You know, my brother was there the day that he passed. And I think there's definitely been a feeling that, you know, I'm sure my brother's carried with him a little bit about leaving that day and being old enough to know that he, you know, was having a heart attack, and he didn't know he was having a heart attack. And it shocked everybody when he passed. But I think to this day, you know, he lost his grandpa, but he lost his best friend that day, and I think he felt responsible. So to hear that he couldn't have saved him, I think is gonna be like the biggest thing.
At this point, can I flip over the photo
Yes.
and see? Yes. So, aww.
This is my Grandpa Palicki art with myself on my 5th birthday.
Oh, everyone's so at peace and happy, and like their characters. I love it.
We were lucky to have a great family. We still have a great family.
Absolutely. So sweet.
I just have a question if you feel anybody in this house.
And there definitely is activity in this
Yes.
house, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, this would be a man, and there is a feeling of this being connected to the house and the history of the house. You know, to be honest, there actually are 2 energies in this house, and one I like am cool with, and the other passed away kind of tragically, and like it's a little bit of a situation.
Is one a female?
One is a female, and the female I think might have died tragically. This is
It's
interesting.
the one I know.
Yeah, because I'm getting woman tragic, and I'm just getting a pull over there. So she would be definitely one of the big people to communicate.
Well, I saw her the first night I stayed in the house.
Wow.
I mean, I've had many experiences with it. She's just been very protective.
Yeah, right.
And she's also not liked everybody who's stayed in this house.
Yes.
Because I've had some friends stay, and in that front room especially, she's like, because that was her room.
Right.
And there's only energies in this house now when I'm in a situation where I feel super stressed or going through something, is usually when there's like a manifestation of something.
Right. And they can feed off of that, I think, too. So that makes sense.
Right.
Definitely, yeah. Because there's distinctly the woman. And it's definitely a tragedy, and then the man would have been from years ago. So those would be the 2 that'd be connected to the house. Neither feel bad or malicious, both feel protective, maybe a little just looky-loo.
Yeah.
That's the way I would describe it, but nothing to worry about.
Thank you so much. This was so meaningful to me.
I'm so glad.
I will say he's the real deal. The things that Tyler was telling me today were things that, again, you know, some of my dearest friends don't even know about. So there's no doubt in my mind that he connected with people that I truly care about and haven't spoken to in many, many years. It's definitely closure because, you know, it's the thing, when somebody passes, it only hurts the people left behind, right? And so that's gonna be something that hopefully I'll be able to give to my family, you know, conveying the words from Tyler, and Tyler, you know, gave to us. So I'm hoping that that is what it can bring, is a little bit of closure. That was exciting. It was amazing. Emotional. You could see I barely was able to keep a dry eye. So I'm sure so many of my family members are gonna be happy to hear what he said. Thank you.